to get rich fall into temptation and a trap, and into many foolish and harmful desires that plunge people into ruin and destruction. For the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil. Some people, eager for money, have wandered from the faith and pierced themselves with many griefs. But you, man of God, flee from all this and pursue righteousness, godliness, faith, love, endurance, and gentleness. Fight the good fight of the faith. Take hold of the eternal life to which you were called when you made your good confession in the presence of many witnesses. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, teach us to pursue righteousness and godliness over riches on earth that leave us feeling empty. May we be content with what you've given us and be good stewards of all that you've entrusted us with. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Today's encouragement was provided by Our Daily Bread Ministries. Welcome to today's encouragement from Our Daily Bread. Today's reading title...
Yeah, did I? Hold on.
Over hill, over dale, we will hit the dusty trail, and those kingstongs go rolling along. In and out, hear them shout, cows are marching all about, and those kingstongs go rolling along. For it's high, high here in the field artillery. Count out your numbers, for it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And wherever you go, you will always know that those big songs go rolling along. Anchors away, my boys, anchors away. Farewell to college joys, we sail and break on day, 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 day. Through our last night on shore, hail to the morn. Until we meet once more, it's wishing you a happy voyage home. We're always ready for the call. We place our trust in Thee. Through howling gale and shot and shell to win our victory. Send bird horizons is our guide, our pledge, our motto too. We're always ready to or die. I constantly fight for you. Up we go into the wild blue yonder, climbing high into the sun. Here they come, so we lead our thunder. And the boys giving the gun. And we dive, starting a flame from under, off with one terrible roar. We live in vain, go down in flame, for nothing can stop the U.S. Air Force. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we will fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. First we fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor free. We are proud to claim the title of United States
Army, Navy, Coast Guard, Airborne, Infantry Force, and on ship. Hoorah! we love you. Okay, we don't love you that much. Okay, now listen, I've been doing pretty good the last couple of weeks, but this morning I got up in here in the chair and I went in the wrong studio for a couple minutes there and didn't realize where I was. I was in a maze. I was lost in the wrong studio. And see, in this program here, you make different studios for different people, guest studios and stuff like that. But this morning I was kind of lackadaisical, I guess, and kind of like my mouse hit the wrong studio. And so there I was, lost, didn't know where I was. It was like, what is this? I haven't seen this before, and I was in the wrong studio. So that's why it all looked unfamiliar to me. But that's okay. I quickly came to my senses. I'm just a little late. I mean, this ain't really the army. I mean, as a civilian, I can be a little late. I mean, what can I tell you? Anyway, good morning to you. Went down to the bank yesterday. Went down to the bank, and we want to talk about something today. I think we need to have a fireside chat today about life in general. But I went down to the bank yesterday, Service First Bank, just to make sure that my Helping Hands account was still there, and it was. And the same amount of money that I left there last year it was still there. So it wasn't. It's not a lot of money, but they left it in there. They didn't mess with it, so that's good. And I didn't spend it, so I want you guys to know it was still there, waiting for some needy person. So let me tell you guys a little bit about Helping Hands. A couple of years ago, um, I was out there. Well, let me. I was. There's so many people during this time, and especially it looks like, especially I think the food stamp thing is going to work itself out. But there's still people because everything is going up out there until some folks don't know if they between or betwixt. They don't really know. And trust me, if you think you catching hell, there are some people catching a whole lot more hell than you're catching. And there are lots of people that need a hand. So what we decided to do, Helping Hands. So let me put this right here, and it's called Helping Hands. And I stole some from State Farm, but I don't think they'll get on my case. It's called Helping Hands Good Neighbor Award, and what it is, that's neighbor. It is neighbor helping neighbor. Okay, because sometimes when you go to in high school neighbor, NEIGHBOR. Okay, HAWAR. I mean, that's it. Yeah, ARD. That's what we do. Okay, so it's Helping Hands Good Neighbor Award, and let me explain a little bit to you about it before I get to anything serious today, because I'm starting this like a year or a month and two early normally than I normally started, because it looked like it's going to be a tough year. So what I do is not we, but I. What I do is we go around and we collect, and we have a GoFundMe account, which is on. Oh, if you go GoFundMe.com, you'll find it's called Helping Hand Good Neighbor Award, and we take donations from everybody. Now, let me say this right up front: we're not a nonprofit organization, so you can't write it off or anything like that. But I will say one thing: um, the only entity that it shouldn't matter to if you're going to give is a good Lord above. Everybody else, I mean, I love tax write off too, but I don't never really give enough to. I don't have that much to give most of the time, but I do what I can. But what happens is that we collect money and we disperse that money 4 days or 3 or 4 days before Christmas. And people don't know that they're getting it. And how do we get the people that we're going to? I don't have time to run around and see if everybody's telling me the truth or not. So I don't have time to run to everybody's house and see if Mrs. Jones is really there, or is it a parking lot or anything like that. So what I do is I depend on you people, you folks out there, to submit names of families, of individuals who are they just catching hell. Not because they're lazy, not because they don't work, but because life happens sometimes. And so each Christmas we went to, and we've been to a couple. I've been to a couple of places where it really mattered what you guys did. It really mattered. Um, and I do with all the surrounding kind. Mostly I depend on Montgomery, but every once in a while we'll get somebody from Prattville, we'll get somebody from Millbrook or something like that, uh, or Selma every once in a while. But most of the time, 90% of the people that we help are right here in Montgomery. Okay, but if I got any extra and somebody sent a letter in, then that's what we're going to do. Now this year we're going to do a little bit differently. You got to send me an email email. That's a good question. I'll tell you. Um, so our email is on the screen, and here's what you have to do. If you know a family member, I mean, it don't have to be a family; it can be anybody. If you know someone that is out there catching the blues, because they just don't have it. Older person, age has got nothing to do with this, but a lot of time older people out there, they're so proud. Older people are so proud until they'll never ask most of the time, even when they need something. We went to a lady house one day, hadn't had heat in the house, and I don't know how long, wrapped up in blankets, just trying to survive. Um, One person, it just there are certain people out there who are prideful. Nothing wrong with having pride, but I'm not. I'm not that guy. Okay, I'm not that guy. I'm not. If I need something, I'm gonna ask somebody. Okay, I'm just not that prideful. So what we do is, and that email address on the screen right now is what you want to be concerned with at the moment. Because what you need to do, if you know somebody, you need to send me an email so I can put it in the list of people. Um, they're catching. Now this I can't do anything for Thanksgiving or anything like that, but we will do something. Um, I will do something for Christmas for people. Okay, I don't have time to do it because it's going to take forever to get this done as it is. Uh, what we will do, we will help people somebody for Christmas. Okay, and they won't know. Now, if you put somebody's name in, I need to know their name, their address, and at least a phone number for you. Okay, a phone number for you. Now, here's the catch: you cannot tell them you put them in for anything, because if we don't get the money, then it's disappointing twice. Okay, they're already in a situation. So every year I try to give everybody from $500 to $1,000, depending on their situation and depending on how much money I can collect from the good people out there. Again, they don't know it's coming until we show up at the door. Me and my good friend Randy, we show up at the door and give it to you. They don't know who put them in for it. They don't know anything about that. So what we need you guys to do, so we have a little while. Uh, I am going to stop taking emails to this thing, probably around December. I don't know, December the 5th, somewhere around there. I'm just going to stop taking. So everything I have to do must be in by December the 5th. Okay. Now the deal is, again, you can't tell anybody you put them in, because this year may be one of those years where I can't get a dime out of anybody. But I'm going to try my best. I'm going to try my best to talk people into helping us out. And there's everybody knows somebody that needs a hand. But it's called a Good Neighbor Award because, like State Farm says, like a good neighbor, well, helping hands gonna be there. Um, and it doesn't make any difference how much you give, okay? But there is a GoFundMe, on GoFundMe. It's called Helping Hands Good Neighbor Award. That you can go there. Anything at a minimum, we'd ask you if you would please donate $20. Because what I'm thinking, everybody don't have a lot, but there are people that have little, and if a lot of people with a little give us a little, then it will help a whole lot. So we call it the 2020 project. But if you could give more than 20, that's fine. But if you can just give $20, listen, won't nobody be mad at you. Okay, whatever. Um, you can go to GoFundMe, or you can send it to. You can send a check. If I don't know is anybody using checks anymore? I don't I don't know. But we'll have the address. We'll have the address up there to send that to also, if you want to, or you can do Cash App. We do have Cash App, and uh, I'll put the Cash App thing up there later on. But the GoFundMe has been my primary source of fundraising custodian for our thing for the last 9 years. We've been doing this for about 9 years. And I need to get on the ball here now to get it done. And again, you use that email address on the screen, lojic@gmail.com. The people you put in, I need their address. I need to know their name. Give me a little bit something about them that we can reference when we going through our list of people, especially if we don't get the money. My goal this year is $10,000. Is always okay. If we can make $10,000, that takes care of 10 people or 20 people at $500 a piece. But obviously, there's always somebody out there that needs a little bit more than everybody else. So we try to help them out. Yeah. So if you go to Facebook, not Facebook, if you go to GoFundMe, or you can send it. You can send it to. I'll give you all the ways. I'll have it on here. I'll have all the ways on here. But initially, we like to know and GoFundMe. We like to know who the people are, so we know exactly how many. And again, that's got to be here. All of that information got to be here. The people got to be here by the 5th of. I'm giving you 30 days to get it here. About the 5th of December. Okay, and that's an email. Now, if you want to send a letter, okay, if you're one of those people who don't have a computer, which I don't know why you wouldn't. If you don't have a computer, call me. I'll get you one. Not for free, but I'll make you a cheap one. Um, so that's what Helping Hands is all about. We've been doing it. I've got some people in this town that have given to us, from mayors to congressmen, people who've given to us over the years, and I'm appreciated. And you guys don't know. You guys just don't know how important it is for some people. 'Cause there are some people, and most of these people are elderly people. A lot of them are elderly people. They won't ask for help for nothing in the world. They'll sit there in a cold house. They'll sit there and like, I know I went home one time. I was in Honolulu, and my mama and them, they lived in South Bend, Indiana, and I was headed to Honolulu. I was going to the sunshine and the sunshine. It was February '86, and I was headed to Honolulu, getting stationed over there. I said yes, 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 because it was getting cold in the states, and well, on my way home, on my way to Honolulu, I was driving somewhere to catch a plane, Los Angeles, somewhere. I was going someplace. And I went to my mother's house, and she was sitting in the cold. And I said, "Why are you sitting in the cold?" And I asked my brothers and sisters, and they're all there. I said, "Well, she didn't want us to help." Really? Seriously? You 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 think a mama or a daddy with any pride is going to ask their children, "I need some help"? You think they are? They spent their whole life helping you. they they don't ask for help from their kids. You just help anyway. You help anyway. Okay. Okay. Uh, Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, man, I'll figure that out in a minute. So anyway, so I get home. I'm going to South Bend. It's cold as crap there. My mother's sitting in a cold house because they won't ask. And my brother and sister, well, she didn't want us to help her. Ladies and gentlemen, okay, we all got moms and we all got dads. Okay, we all got. You don't ask them to help. You just help. You just go down there. You take care of what they need to be taken care of, and you keep moving. Okay. And I'm not relaying this story because I'm some sort of hero. I did my dirt coming up like any other kid did. But I went down there and took care of it. They'll never say, and that's why I got the idea of Helping Hands. They'll never ask. Some of these people will never ask you. They'll sit there and freeze in the house because their pride. They worked their whole lives, and they've taken care of us. Well, now it's our turn. Now it's our turn to help a little bit. For them. I for till this day, I'll never understand why they let her sit over in the cold house. I just, but it was what it was. Um, so that gave me a sense of commitment to this process because people, older people, and people have been working on, they just won't ask. So helping hand. That's why nobody can ask for themselves, but you can ask for somebody else. Because I figure you guys know in your own communities, you know who's catching the blues and who isn't. Okay, so that's what Helping Hands Good Neighbor Award is all about. I want to thank State Farm for not suing me for using their for, losing, for using their thing. But hey, listen, Good Neighbor Award. It's a fitting title because it's neighbors helping neighbors, and your neighbor ain't the guy that lives next door to you. Your neighbor is anybody that you knew about that's breathing. Everybody's a neighbor here, so it doesn't make any difference what neighborhood you live in or anything like that. So you need to send us an email. It's got to be here by the 5th, or you can send it to well, I give you the address yesterday, but right now I'd rather do it because if you send it through email, and you can use somebody else's email to send it. If you send it through email, then that means there's a record of it, and that means that there is a now you can't tell them that you put them in because if we don't get the money, then it's you hurt people twice because they don't have anything. You told them they're gonna get something, they don't end up getting anything, and so we don't ask you. However, a few days before this event takes place, I will call everybody that sent something in that I have got something for, and I'll let you know because I'll need to know. You need to figure out how to make sure they're home when me and Randy get there. Okay, you need to make sure they're home and wherever or the store wherever they are. I've been to a lot of places. We went to Pierce's Kitchen on Fairview Avenue a couple years ago, and we surprised some people over there. So I've gone to all kind of places, houses, work, jobs, whatever you're thinking. We've been there. So, all right. So if you will help us this year, we got a 2020 project, and that's for people who just, if you got $20, then that's fine. Now, what will it say? Uh, will this $20 ask with a podcast audience? It's different podcast. You may have to increase your ask, my friend. Well, you maybe so, but y- you know, uh, and again, this is just I just thought I would mention it today. 'Cause you're gonna hear this a lot for the next 30 days or so. But there are a lot of people out there right now that are catching the blues. Gas up, light bill up, rent up, everything's up, except our salaries. Our salaries are not up at all. We're still trying to do the same thing with the same amount of money when everybody else is going up. So but some of us still got a little extra here and there. You know, so we ask you to do that, and if you can send us a name now. Again, how you can go to GoFundMe, Helping Hands Good Neighbor Award, and go to GoFundMe, and you can go there and donate. And at a minimum, we ask for $20. I hear you saying. I'm gonna be walking the streets asking for more. But $20 sometimes is a lot of money for people. But it's called the 2020 project, and where it is, if enough people give $20, we can help 20 families. Okay, and that's all we're asking. And listen, they don't have to know you. You can get that $20 from a friend of yours, or something like that. Okay. So we just ask you to do that. So it's called the Good Helping Hands Good Neighbor Award. You go to GoFundMe, and it would do it. Or you can go to Service First Bank, and you can put it. You go to their bank, and it's called the Helping Hand Award, but it's DBA Helping Hand Award. Or you look for Kevin Elkins. I don't spend your money. I don't pay my gas bill or anything like that. Um, although sometimes you barely use a little help. But anyway, no, not really. I have been blessed to not not have many issues. I got a couple, but nothing I can do about those. Nothing I can do about those. So anyway, so that's what the Helping Hands Award is, and I'm going out and I'll show you guys what we're doing. How we do that? Okay. Uh, see, we are putting our we're putting our paperwork in 2025. Okay, want to let you know we're out there trying to. We'll be sending out these little flyers out pretty soon, and giving to people. Trust me, you could. There's never a wrong time to do the right thing. And even though you may need $20, there's somebody who will be lucky to get five. So those are the things we're asking for. We've been doing it for years. A couple of years we gave away computers to kids who did good in school. Long as they showed the potential to be good human beings, we gave them brand new ones. So we gave away. I think we gave at the radio, and the only reason I got it because I was on the radio station. So I ain't gonna lie, nobody really liked me that much. But we gave away 300 computers, 10 computers a year. Okay. Um, so we what was it 10? It was 10 or 15 computers per year for about 10 years. Okay, so we appreciate the people, and some of those people every once in a while will see me because I don't remember them, and say, hey, I said, got that computer? I said, it's time for a new one. you know, I ain't gave those away in a while, so you need to get another computer. But anyway, so that's our thing, and if you can always call me, of course, and that is what's my number? My number is 922-3030 if you want to, but I'll put it out on the screen as we go along. So anyway, so again, it's GoFundMe, and if minimum we ask you to give $20. I know I heard that. I'm just hoping that the good Lord touches people, and and listen. It's not only you. We want everybody. If you know people that can give $20, it's called the 2020 Project. Now, businesses, we ask businesses if we can get it for $100. Okay, for businesses, but we are asking regular folks if you can spare $20, and if we get enough $20 bills, we can put something together here and help some folks out, and we all sleep better at night because we know we had a hand in making sure somebody else slept good during this time of year. That's all I ask. So, and I'll be going through this at least once or twice a week to let you guys know once I get all this stuff worked out together. So now that's my plug for today. Again, it is you can go to and there's a Facebook page called Helping Hands Good Neighbor Award also. So, but GoFundMe is where you put in the money, or you can go to Service First Bank and make sure I put that right there. SERVIS. Because I went there yesterday, and man, the count was still there. Still have it don't have $32 in it, but it's always best to have a little money in the bank when you start begging than not have anything. And you'll find that okay, so if you go down on Commerce Street, you'll see Service First Bank right there on the corner of Commerce Street, and right in that same big building where the U.S. Marshals is. Now, if you're a crook or something like that, don't be going around there because I don't want you to end up in jail if you put that $20 in there. Okay, whatever you got to do. Okay, but the Service First Bank Helping Hand Award, or listen to Kevin Elkins. Either way it goes, it's DBA Helping Hands. So, and that's all that money is used for. That money is used to help other people, not help me. Help other people. I'm with Guardian. So if you can do that, we appreciate that. Anything you can give. I mean, listen, if you don't got 20, you got 5, that's cool. Okay. Okay. Where do I go on GoFundMe? You just type you would type in Helping Hands Good Neighbor Award, and it'll show up on GoFundMe. Okay. I appreciate that. All right. Well, but I've been doing it, and some of you guys have been giving every year I've done this, and I appreciate it. Every year we have made a difference. You have made a difference in people's lives that you will never meet. Some of them I would have never met, but people have never. That's why I got pissed off the other day when certain groups of people in this town were boycotting a local business. A local business who every year that I have ever gone to him, he has always helped out, whether it's GoFundMe, whether it's Helping Hands, whether it's Christmas, helping get money for computers for kids. He's always helped. And we have the unmitigated gall. And to tell you what stupidity is, we have the unmitigated gall to try to make him lose money on his business when that same individual has given money to me for years to help these folks out. And you know what? And most since Montgomery, and I might as well just be honest, since Montgomery is predominantly a black city now, he knew who he was helping. He was helping black folks. And for folks to insinuate that this guy's some kind of racist, what it's, and this is why there are people in this town who don't know, who can't tell a can from a cane, okay? Who think they are relevant because they can raise hell about something that somebody else did. Not the people today. We all have a right to like who we like and not like who we don't like. Okay, we all have a right to do that. Okay, and to just be honest with you, Democrats protest a lot of things. Oh, they whine about this and they whine about that. But it's an amazing thing. Every time, every year, Republicans people are the people that give. Every year, every year. Democrats whine all the time, all the damn time about giving this again. What you ain't got, what you don't got. Well, I'm telling you, can we change the paradigm? Because all these Republicans that the Democrats in this city whining about, they always give and help. Okay, and there are a couple of Democrats that give every once in a while, but for the most part, Republicans give more than Democrats. Okay, they just do. It is what I mean. If you're going to affiliate yourself with a political party, now. Hey, I would love to change that this year. I would love to change the fact that that's not going to be the case. But it is what it is. Democrats, they whine about life treating them bad, which it does. It treats all of us bad. But the Republicans, the people who call themselves Republicans most of the time, give more than you know. Than Democrats do. And just so you know, in the House of Representatives, the Democrats are more millionaires in there than the Republicans are. And nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with earning your own money. Got no problem with that. But they always try to make it seem as though Republicans are stingy. Republicans make lots of money. They don't care about anybody. When I have found the opposite to be true. And for 30 years, I've been on the radio collecting money for these people. Okay. So while the Democrats are complaining and raising hell and talking about how racist people are, a lot of them won't give their own race a dime. Okay. I'm just telling you the way it is. That's the way it is. So let them complain and we'll go out and do something for people. All right. Good morning to you. Hope this day finds you well. One of the things, I'd say, man, I'm gonna quit watching the show. You just skip over my comments. Come on, man. I can't get everybody. I can barely write and type for you and skip over my comments. Man, listen, I got a lot of comments on this thing. And people can see it. I'm gonna put it right on the screen right there, so everybody can see your comments. Okay, everybody can see your comments now. Okay, so everybody can see all the comments. Okay, so anyway, so either the 2020 project, if you can give $20, I appreciate it. And you can send it to you can send. Well, I don't want you to send cash. A $20 check will do. You can. I'll give you the address. And we will do that in a little while. Well, I don't know if I want to give you. Well, text me and I'll give you the address because I don't want the address to go out on the road here. Okay. Thank you. Somebody just gave. See, somebody gave. So it works. Cash App. You can Cash App me. My Cash App number would be my phone number, which is 334-241-9991. Let's see, CASH Cash App would be 334-241-9998. And so you can look me up on my name, but that's my Cash App number right there. So you'll be able to get that. Not a problem. Okay, that's Cash App. So again, we need your email the information to us. Okay, and that email address, of course, would be logic, L-O, well, I'll put it up there a couple more times. Now, I'll do all that later. Now, let's get on to some interesting things to talk about this morning, although that is interesting. But we're trying to help. You just lost Democrats' donation. You can't lose what you never get. You can't lose what you never get. Now, prove me wrong. Okay, see, and that now see here, okay, so that's just an excuse where you don't have to give. Okay, I just said, prove me wrong. I'd love to be wrong about that. I really would. I would love to be wrong about what I said, but I've been doing this for 30 years, 34 years. And most of the people who give me are people who call themselves Republicans. Okay. I'm just saying it is what it is. And maybe they just, and maybe they don't give because they don't know me. They never heard of me, stuff like that. And that's a possibility too. But some. Okay, I'm just saying. I'm not dogging anybody out. I'm just telling you what. I'm just telling you what it is. What it is. Okay. Okay. So anyway, moving right along, which brings me to my main subject this morning. I'm trying to figure out what is yeah, that's it. What is the important things in this city, in this country right now that bother you? What's the most trying thing in your lives in America? Living, or let's start at Montgomery, and then work our way out to the state, to the country, stuff like that. What is the most important thing um, that bothers you? Yeah, I'm not a, yeah, and I hear you. I'm more of a moderate. I'm more of a. I think that's way. Uh, uh, I don't know if State Farm would tell me to cease and desist, because I don't say like a good neighbor. I say it's a good neighbor award. So I don't think they can. I don't think they can have me. As a matter of fact, they get. Plus, I've been a State Farm customer now for 30 years, so I don't think they'd do that to a brother. I've been paying the money to use the name. Um, yeah, I don't think they'll. But if they did, I'll just do something else. That ain't no big deal. But hey, whatever. I don't think they want the negative publicity that will come with that. So that's all we're trying to do, is trying to help somebody. Okay, I'm just a nobody. So what are the things that bother us the most? And you know what bothers me the most? And this bothers me more than anything right now. Um, is we can't seem to let go of the past, of the things that people did years ago. And most of those people, if they're not dead, they're headed there. But we can't seem to let it go, because, and I'm gonna tell you why I think that's so. As bad as it may sound, a lot of people put their butt on the line during the civil rights movement. A lot of people did. They black folks and white folks. They put their butt on the line. They put their life, their living in jeopardy, because they were trying to do the right thing. There were whites who did it, who died. I'm thinking the most famous one is Viola Louisa. Here, I think going down Highway 80, lost her life trying to help black folks. But we can't seem to let go. And Democrats especially, every time something happens, they bring up race. Well, you did it to me because I was black. I didn't get the job because I was black. Um, and now we got white folks saying, well, I can't get the job because they're going to hire all them black people. Now, I will tell you, and initially, when affirmative action came, it was needed. It certainly was needed, because black folks would never got some of the opportunities that we got. But I can't think of an opportunity now, and I could be wrong, but I can't think of an opportunity now where a black man, if he's willing to put in the work, can take any job, can get any job he wants. but you got to stop going to school taking business administration or criminal justice. You have to take a job. You have to take something that's relevant, something that is used every day. I don't know what electrical engineering. Everything my son wants to do that. Everything that we do has something to do almost with electricity. Understand it, comprehend it, use it. But the job AI is certainly going to put a lot of people in the unemployment line unless you learn how to do AI, okay, or something like that. But my issue in this country is everything that people do. We act like it has something to do with race. Everything from here to below the Mason Dixon line, above the Mason Dixon line. Um, we act like that illegal aliens are our biggest problem in America. It isn't. I mean, it isn't. As a matter of fact, if we got off our butt sometime and actually did something, there wouldn't be a job for an illegal alien. Business people say, "Listen, I got stuff that got to get out. It's got to go someplace. How am I going to get it done? If Leroy won't show up and put in an application, and then when he does show up, his pants all down below his legs, and he's smelling like marijuana. How you going to get a job? I'm not going to hire you smoking marijuana to drive my vehicle. That ain't going to happen. No, that ain't going to happen. So what do you think are some of the problems that we have in this country that we need to address, which is bigger than illegal aliens? I think the trans thing is tough with me. If you cannot agree of the origin of your species, then there are a few things that you and I are going to have a conversation about. There are a few things that you and I are going to be able to have a conversation about because logic and reason is no longer part of your vocabulary. If you actually believe that a man can turn himself into a woman, that a woman can have a baby just because she takes testosterone, or that a man can have a baby because it's really a female who's taking all these hormone pills, puts hair all on the body, because she can't grow it naturally because the good Lord didn't want her to, except in certain places. But other than that, I don't. We got issues in this country right now. We do. We got issues in this country right now that I don't quite understand. We got trans here. We got LGBT here. We got people in Washington D.C. Who um, who don't really care about you. They care about. Did you know every time we redo a voting district, it's got nothing to do with you? Did you guys realize that? Every time the Congress goes in and redoes a voting district, it has nothing to do with you, the voter. Now, how many of y'all know that? Raise your hand. Okay, right. It has nothing to do with you. Nobody is redistricting voting precincts to help you. Okay. Now, if you don't believe me, I want you to listen to the verbiage every time they talk about redoing voting. It is so one party can benefit over the other party because they take it for granted that all black people, they take it for granted that 98% of all black folks going to vote Democrat, and they are not wrong. So if they want a Republican district, then all you got to do is kind of like cut out the black folks out of the black neighborhoods out of the district, and then you're gonna get Republicans. If you want Democrats, then you make a district that sort of looks like a jigsaw puzzle, so you can get the black folks. You see, it's got nothing to do with you, and I will really be glad when people understand that the voting reorganization, the voting district reorganization is for the party, not you. Because if it had anything to do with you, it wouldn't make any difference where you live. You could just go vote. Okay, but it has had nothing to do with you. Okay, and one of these days, when the American people finally figure out that it's got nothing to do with them, they don't give a jackass about you, but they like your vote. Oh yeah, because they know most blacks, 98% of voting blacks vote one way. And that is not true when it comes to white voters. White voters are about a 50-50 mix. White voters, there are more Democrats that are white voters in America than black folks. Okay, so if you thought for some reason that you were really that important, you're not. Black voters are sort of like you know those scales when the scales go like this. You know the scales go like you got. Well, black folks are the thing that you put on the scales to make it go a little down a little further. Nobody, we have no priority, but we are used as a pushover. In other words, if whites are 50-50 split between Democrat and Republican, then black folks who vote Democrat, okay, then they become the little weight that pushes you over the hump. But to be truthful, nobody really cares about. Everybody gets manipulated. Okay, that's one of the problems I have. That somebody told black people somehow, some way that the best way that you need to vote Democrat. And let me tell you something. And I'm the same when it comes to Republicans. But Republicans don't vote 98% Republican. I mean, white folks don't vote 98% Republican. There are more white Democrats than black folks ever thought about because there's not enough black folks in America to make a difference in that party, except as an added weight if we need you. So nobody benefits from redistricting except the parties. And if we could get people to understand that probably would change the way we vote. But nobody benefits from that except the Democrats and the Republican Party. So if you think for some reason, okay, if you believe that you if you believe that they changed the districts so you could get an apple I mean an ample amount of power in voting, well, that just goes to show you that you're sort of naive. Okay, and nothing wrong with being naive. I mean, I can't fix I can't fix a train motor, whatever they call those things. I can't fix because I've never been trained to do that. I can't fix cars because I'm not a car guy. I'm a computer guy. I don't know how to do cars. But again, uh, hatred toward mankind is a subject of the times today. Well, I don't know if it if men there's a perception. Okay, our perception is somewhat hindered uh, in America right now. At both sides of the spectrum, our perception is wrong. I mean, we actually got people actually perceiving that they can become a woman, and I hate to say this, but one of those groups is the LGBT group who has more political power than all the black folks in America put together. You got more political power than all the black folks in America put together. I think there what 41 million black people, 41 million black folks, because they already know what you're going to vote. They already know. They don't even have to have. When the last time you saw you got a thing in the mail that says, "Hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that?" No, 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 no. What we get in the mail, and just to show you how wrong these people are, what we get in the mail every voting day in Alabama is somebody sends us something in the mail with white folks with the KKK suit on, because see they know that we're kind of ignorant when it comes to voting. All they have to do is show that white guy in that white cap and gown, whatever that thing, I forgot what they call that thing, then we're gonna vote we think we're going to vote our interest and vote Democrat. When in all actuality, the Democrats were the one who were wearing them things. Okay, but listen. That's a so. How do we retrain the brain? How do we retrain people to do things differently? It's an Herculean thing. It's a Herculean thing to try to change people's attitude and change their mind. It really is. It is just. But we get some people. Oh yeah. Oh, sorry about that. My bad. Some people. I forgot to put the number up there. Let me get rid of this right quick. Okay, there's the numbers right there. Some people. Oh, wait a minute. Man, I forgot. I forgot to do a lot of things today. I was so intrigued by this subject. Um, and okay, put that over there. Okay, put that over there. There you go. I forgot all about that thing. But anyway, the numbers here are 521-2963 because we have a lot of conversations on our in this city. Facebook, podcast, talk radio, and we still don't fix anything. Good morning.
Good morning from San Diego.
Mhm.
Had some comments about immigration and why it's so important at even our level. What we don't look at, and you just started bringing it up too, about what matters in the voting piece. Well, voting is based on originally where the people are because of the census, right? That means that that's going to patch out the number of House seats. And if you have a lot of immigration influx into swing states, then that's going to give them more House seats, going to give them more of the votes for the president with the Electoral College, these things, right? So that's what's going on is when you bring in this mass of illegal immigration into the swing states, you change where the power lies. So may not matter to us on a day-to-day basis. I got no problem with the immigrants and things like that around. It's a larger scale. So that whole think locally or think globally, act locally type thing, we need to think a little more globally and what's going on with this and why it is. So that's the real reason.
Okay. Now, we are assuming, and I don't know if it may be a correct assumption or not. I'm not sure, but we are assuming that illegal aliens don't vote. I mean, they get the right.
No, they don't have to vote. That's just it. The census does not care, even if you're a citizen. It just cares that you exist in that state, and that's how they apportion the seats.
Oh yeah, I didn't really think so. Because they are counted on the census because they happen
Correct.
to be here.
And this next census is 2030, I believe.
Yeah.
And we're loading them in.
Do you think somebody's that nefarious that they think that far? I guess.
You mean intelligent?
Yeah,
that's right. Normal business thought, man. You're thinking a couple lines down. I mean, that's what you think. You have to think in business that way, and that's all they are. Their politics is business. And they're thinking that exact same way.
Now, that's some dangerous stuff. I mean, to have somebody sitting in a room thinking, well, we get them in here, whether they're legal or not, they'll be counted in the census, and therefore it'll give us a little bit more leverage.
A lot more leverage.
Well, a lot more leverage.
I mean, look how close the swing states are. And that's where the power is when you then get enough people in your group, and then you redistrict and you do all the things you're talking about, the power is set up just the way you need it. Then you own the House, you own the presidency.
Of course, nobody's speaking English, Harley, but
I just want to, that's why immigration is important to me. So I'll let you get on the show, man.
Okay.
Early here, barely awake.
Listen, man, have you gone to Coronado?
No, I can't get out of here. I'm stuck right in San Diego at an event, and they're pulling me every. The food
what a beautiful! It is one of the prettiest cities I have ever been to. It isn't. I don't know what it looks like now, but boy, when I was there in 1980 something, it was an absolutely gorgeous place. I got on the USS Kitty Hawk out of there, as a matter of fact, with the Marines. Wow, what a great place! All right, hey, appreciate it.
Y'all have a good day.
All right, and I would imagine that may be that may be somebody's long range issue. I mean, to manipulate the voting process by allowing people to come in here strictly for the number and not necessarily the party that they vote for. Strictly the numbers, and he's actually right there. I didn't really think about that. But anyway, just wondering, what are some of the important things to you? Because we have lots of conversations, and It is not. It is not. So those donation mark them. No, no, they're not. No, no, they're not. But I'm just telling you, Jamal, that that what people believe matters. Your philosophical principles that you have built your life around matters, and what people believe is shown in the things that they do. Okay, it's shown in what they do, and I'm just telling you, it's been my experience after being in this town for 34 years that that the people who tend to blame the past for where they are often have often have attitudes. You know, I mean, they do. And I listen. I understand. When I think about what my mother told me happened to her in Mississippi, it sort of still kind of angers me a little bit that people would do that to people strictly because of their color. Yeah, it ticks me off. But at some point you have to go on. My mother told me one thing. She said, "Don't hate them, but don't trust them." I found that to be good advice. Okay. And I live my life, not necessarily, you have to earn my trust, but you don't automatically inherit my anger. Okay. You don't inherit my anger because you were born. But you must earn my trust. Okay. And I think that's a good philosophy. I think that is a good way to be. You don't inherit anybody else's anger, but you certainly you don't get trust without working at it. So that so now, yeah, I don't think the donate money don't have anything on it. Okay, they just care. Are you saying that because you haven't received your $5,000 check? I, no, I haven't received a $5,000 check, but I wouldn't mind getting one for this process for my thing here. Who knows? Maybe somebody will give me one. But anyway, so again, don't forget. I got to have an email in about somebody you want to put in for the Helping Hands Good Neighbor Award. You got to have it by the 5th of December, whatever day that's on. And since it's email, I'll give you an address where you can send it tomorrow when I come up with the right address here. Okay. So moving on to other things. I'm just wondering. I was just wondering, what bothers us the most in this country right now? Because no matter who the mayor is, no matter who the president is, we are going to complain. I mean, I'm living in Honolulu. There's somebody right now in Honolulu complaining about how bad Honolulu is, but we perceive Honolulu to be the paradise city, the Waikiki and Honolulu. We can be, and it isn't. It is a place just like here. Been there, done that. They have they got crime. They have poor people. As a matter of fact, most of the Hawaiians live the we're always talking about what do you call it? The native Hawaiians, the true Hawaiians. They live it outside. They were doing that for years because the Japanese came in the 70s and 80s and bought stuff up, took the price of everything up because even in Hawaii, somebody's over there making the dollar god. And so now we got people living on the beaches because they cannot afford a decent place to live because somebody decided to sell their wares and sell all the things they wanted for a couple of dollars. Okay. Okay. Uh, that's interesting. Let me see now. Let's see. It's been a year since you were let go from Cumulants. I remember the broadcast. Well, yeah, it makes you sad. I mean, I had friends there. Sure, I had friends there. Jobs come and go. I had friends. It's the relationships that you make at these places when you stay there a long time that really matter. It's not. It's not the jobs come and go. But listen, 34 years. I mean, 24 years. That's every year in radio and TV. I think, from what it seems, that around Thanksgiving and Christmas, that's when they let people go. Now, what I can't figure out is why do you wait? Why do you wait till the holiday season comes up to do it? Do it in October. Do it in September. I mean, why are you going to do it right? So every Christmas comes up now. I'm going to remember. I'm going to remember where I was getting canned. Okay, they didn't call it a canning though. They called it. They call it. I forgot what they call it, but it is what it is. It is. I'm not the only person because every year, and to be fair, every year somebody got let go when I was there. Every year, and so I mean, you gotta be thinking there. Well, maybe my turn's coming up, but it took them 24 years to get me. Okay, so they did me right. I got no complaints with them. It was fun. I was able to do a lot of good in that job. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to do anything on an AM station anymore. But I was able to do it. Excuse me, not I. We were able to do lots of good. We fed people. We helped people get their lights cut back on. We gave computers to kids who couldn't afford them. We gave the Helping Hands Get Neighbor Award started over there, and we were able to help people get their lights cut on. And a couple people were very sick when we went to the house, and some even died since then. But before they left here, we tried to do something good for them, and so we did a lot of good on 1440. So I'm not gonna, hey, it was Malcolm said, if you don't own it, it ain't yours. It wasn't my station, but they gave me an opportunity. I became known in this city because of that station. So I mean, of course, it was sad. I had some great friends. I mean, you don't know anybody for 20 years, and all of a sudden, y'all get separated. It's kind of like divorce. Um, so it kind of makes you sad, even though maybe divorce is good for you. But maybe it was time to move on. I don't know. But I'm not mad at anybody. Let me see here. Uh, yo,
Man, your phone had not halfway working this morning, fella.
well, the problem was I didn't have it. I didn't have it plugged up. I forgot.
Now you was asking the question earlier about some things that's going on in the country you don't like, something like that, right?
Well, what are some of the things that you don't like? What do you think that bothers you?
It bothers me that you got these so-called conservatives working in the White House, the Congress and the Senate that's Trump puppet, and Trump cult members that don't have a set. You talk about the transgender people all the time. You need to get these guys checked out, see what the hell they told down at the cabin.
Well, I don't care what you told me.
They don't have a set. Don't seem like they have a set because Trump says fly shoe at one of them. Hell, they damn near folded like a daggone prune.
Mm-hmm.
And Poker Mudgeon, boy, he on another show yesterday, Cav. You know how he's on this damn thing about that he have a problem with Duke, my nickname Duke. He have a problem with that, but he don't say a damn thing about the ICE agents walking around with masks and stuff on and don't even know their names. Hell, for us we know, hell, they may be white supremacist guy doing all this stuff with the mask is on. You know what I'm talking about? So he worried about Duke. But this joke set him straight yesterday. He folded like a little old prune too. Went back in his little corner when they gave him his answer. But that's my deal, Calvin.
Okay.
I mean, that's my deal. That your party, these guys. I
don't belong to a party.
Why should they be getting paid and they're not doing the work? They're not doing any work.
But that's
Trump doing all the work for them. The cult leader calling all the shots.
Yeah. Well,
so
that's
they get there. They just there collecting the check.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
That's what government.
That's what I don't like.
Yeah.
Huh?
Go ahead. That's the way government works, though.
No. These guys normally it would. Somebody ask them a question on the weekend or something. They give a different opinion if it hurt the president's feeling, but it can't hurt Trump feelings, boy. They get what they call it what they call that name when they go against them when they going up for re-election. They got a little name for it nowadays. All the good sense running over one another this morning. Help me out, Kevin. Come on, help me out with your smartness.
You got me. I mean, they call candidates.
Present, yeah, they're presenting them or something. What they call it? Oh, they got a little faster name. Primary them. Yeah, they're primary them.
Yeah,
they're primary them. Oh, Trump threw it up he threw that in a couple of them faces back in the last year. What? was it last year or year before last,
Mm.
that if he get back in the White House, he's gonna do that to Liz Cheney and different people like that.
Yeah.
My boy Dick Cheney died, man. You hadn't said anything about it.
Oh, Dick Cheney?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
died.
yeah, I
84
didn't.
years old.
Yeah, I didn't. How old was he?
84.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know anything about it. No.
Or the Blackbirds at 84.
Okay. All right. Well,
A curmudgeon. Get off my wee, please. All right.
All right. Appreciate it. Matter of fact, Selma got a new mayor. I didn't. Okay. Well, that's good. I like the other mayor there too, though. New mayor. What's his name? Johnny Moss the third. Don't really. Not really heard much about him, but I'll see if I can get him on the air. A new air in Greenville, Jacques Brown, one of those French names there, sworn in as the first new mayor in 25 years. And again, nobody gets a seat forever. Okay, nobody gets a seat forever. Yes, Don.
Well, Kevin, I feel good today knowing that our first black mayor is over in Barcelona, Spain, representing Montgomery. Don't you?
That boy gets to go a lot of places, don't he? I didn't know.
He won't tell you how many places he goes or how much money he spends on them because he tells you to file a Freedom of Information Act. But I think he's out of Montgomery more than he's in it. No, you just spent a whole lot of time with that representative thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so wrong.
Okay, now where was I wrong at? Where was I wrong?
Well, you'll let me talk, I tell you. But first, the number. Where do we get the number of representatives from?
Where do you get the number of representatives based on population?
Based on the census.
Which is population.
Now, each state is allowed to set up their districts the way they want, except they're not supposed to set them up by race, right?
Not supposed to, but we do.
Except Alabama and I think one or two others has to set it up by race because of the Voters' Rights Act. But guess what's happening with that right now? It's before the Supreme Court. So it's probably in the near future, Alabama will quit making black districts. So we may lose these wonderful figures in the other one, and we have districts made up without being forced to do them by race, because doing them by race is unconstitutional, right?
It's supposed to be.
So the Supreme Court should rule that we don't have to do this anymore. And then that part of the Civil Rights Act will be struck down.
And I think it ought to be. I let people go out and vote. This race thing, all it does is keep the.
Well, how you gonna determine the district?
Well, I think we just need people to go vote and vote for who they want to.
That don't make sense what you saying.
But it does.
How do you determine the districts? We're gonna have what? How many representatives?
I think Louisiana.
5 or so.
Yeah, but I think Louisiana don't have this district voting thing. They have. It's like.
Well, that's why Louisiana is before the Supreme Court right now, because they're trying to make Louisiana to have black districts. And race is unconstitutional. So the Supreme Court will probably rule that knock that down in the Voters' Rights Act, that we got to have a black district. I don't even feel represented anymore. Figures is my representative, supposedly. Mm. You think I feel any good about calling him?
Well, I tried to call him too.
But in the future, I might have somebody like Barry Moore was great. Maybe I can get a Barry Moore again, but he might be our next senator. I hope so.
Mm.
But this whole race thing needs to be knocked down because, we ain't supposed to be doing about this race. Hey, Popeyes, you need to put Popeyes on your thing. I tried finding who owned that thing. They won't even answer the phone over there. But it's disgrace with the flag at Popeyes over there on the Eastern Bypass. But you need to do something about it. So,
yeah, I think I will. I did something about the post office at one time.
Find me who owns the thing, and I'll call them. But they don't even answer their phone over there.
Mm. All right. Well, I'll see.
But it's awful. It's pathetic. And someone I tried calling the health department. You got groups of Hispanics over there opening up food and service venues under little tents in the street. You know, I don't know where the health department is or the license department is, but I guess that's okay in the New Montgomery.
Well, you never can tell. All right, appreciate
Maybe
it.
somebody won't get sick.
I'll do my best. Although there is a couple people with the food things on Lower Tumpka Road, look like they're making ribs or something out there. I hope they're clean and I hope that it's all good. But I mean,
Well, how are they clean unless they have? And the Hispanics over there don't have any hand washing facilities.
well, back in the good old days,
You know, to get a permit like that, you have to be able to wash your hands at least. And you know they haven't got no doggone permit from the city to do it. And they certainly don't post their food inspection number on the side of their tent. But it's just ridiculous to ride up over there. It looks awful over there on Eastern Boulevard anymore. But you should work on it. Maybe our first black mayor would come back to town sometime and tell us.
yeah.
Hey, rode by Sweet Creek yesterday. The boycott's working. Couldn't get a parking place. I wanted to go in and tell. Ingram, that luckily we can keep the blacks. Hey, does he want? They used to have like a little black band on Saturdays and Sundays out front.
I think
Does he want them no longer to play?
I don't know, but he's had a black.
Get Joe Reed on the phone.
Yeah.
The one thing you need to ask Joe Reed: does his brother support him in the boycott? I'd like to know if Stephen is supporting the boycott.
Okay. Well,
could you ask him that?
Yeah, I'll call Joe in a couple minutes, see if I can reach out to him.
Yeah, ask Joe if Stephen Reed is supporting him on the boycott.
Yeah. Okay. All right, we'll do that. Okay. Yeah. This whole thing. Let me see what Joe's number is. Because Joe normally comes. Oh, tomorrow. I got JC Love coming on. I know people. Listen, people act like I'm on too early in the morning. They act like I'm on early in the morning. They can't cut. They can't. Man, that's too early. I mean, really? I mean, what else you got to do? Okay, let me see if I can find Joe, because Joe is he's let me see if I can find Joe. There's Joe right there. Okay, let me see if I can find him. Okay, because this whole boycott thing just I ain't with it, but we'll see. We'll see what he said. Okay, let me see now. 334. Let me make sure I get that right. 334. Okay, let me see if I. Okay, let me see if I can find the brother this morning. Let's see. See, he probably don't know the number. Okay.
Hey. Hello.
Hey. You've come up on the show this morning a number of times there, Mr. Reed, and somebody wanted me to call you.
Must be a slow morning.
Well, no, we just wondering why you are advocating a somewhat of a boycott of a particular business.
Which one is this? There's lots of them. I don't think people ought to go to. Most of them have low health scores.
Well, this one don't have a low health score, but somebody heard you the other day on another radio show saying something about this particular business, and they were just wondering how come.
Oh, yeah, I know. I think it's a page out of the MAGA book. When Jimmy Kimmel said some things that which wasn't much at all about Charlie Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
And the president and everybody else thought he ought to be fired or terminated. They, want to flex some economic muscle.
Mm-hmm.
So what I said was that black people in Montgomery ought to do the same thing. When you don't like stuff that other people say and do, don't support them economically. That's just common. That's, don't do it. And you shouldn't be putting money behind people who are advocating against you. Well, I mean, what kind of fool does that?
Hmm.
So it's not a
Although
new it's not a
we do
it's not a new it's not a new concept. And
no.
if people are going to if people are going to take positions that directly affect your individual interest, okay, then you need to take control of the thing that you can control, particularly if you're a minority. You know,
if
you control your you
if
control
I,
where you spend your money.
so let me ask
So
you,
why would you empower somebody who's not going to support you?
I'm just going to put a hypothetical.
Or the other side of it, somebody who is doing things that are detrimental to what you're doing.
Well, hypothetically, I got a grocery store. I got the only grocery store in town. But you don't like who I support. So are you going to starve to death because you don't like who I support? As long as when you come in my business, I treat you with equality and respect. But just because you don't like my political views is a reason to go against me.
Well, I think the MAGA crowd can answer that question. I think they've already answered it. But the answer to the question, I think people have everyone has to make that decision. If you're the only game in town, you got to make a decision like that for yourself. But if you're not the only game in town for whatever that is, then take your dollars someplace else. I mean, that's just, again, that's, MAGA and the MAGA crowd are famous for this sort of thing, for this sort of business. This whole thing, this goes even with Charlie Kirk. And most people, opinion was simply, here's a guy who advocated for the Second Amendment and said that gun casualties were just simply, par for the course, and then he gets killed. Well, okay. That's the most Jimmy Kimmel said, was here's what somebody said, here's what happened. And then you had the president and you had other people saying that ABC or wherever network he was on should fire him or take him off, and they did that. So I don't have any problem telling anybody, when you get people who advocate against you and against your interest and who are doing things like that, why should you support them? I don't think you should support them verbally. I don't think you should support them emotionally. I don't think you should support them economically if that's what they're doing.
What if I have supported you economically? And what if but just because I don't believe as you do, but I believe in the sanctity of the human of human life, and I've helped you, but you're going to boycott me because you don't like something that I believe, even though I have proof that I have actually reached out across the aisle and helped you.
I think you have to weigh what's important to you. You have to weigh what's important to you. And if that's not important, then anybody can make that call. People make that call individually. I know where my call would be on that. Things that are important. What's the most important thing to you?
Does one chapter in one's life does that show the whole arena of your living? I mean, just one. I mean, there are a bunch of books we read that one chapter we just didn't like, but we didn't get rid of the whole book, did we?
I think it depends on what the book was. I think it depends on what the entirety is. But sometimes it's like a relationship, Kevin. And if there are lots of things that people can do in relationships, and they can be pretty good, and you don't get my dad also, you don't get cookies for doing the things you ought to do and treating people decently and all this, and you don't get cookies for that. And then you can go off and you can do something else that can totally transform that relationship. And men and women in some of these cases are notorious for doing some of these things. Just as a couple of them, notorious for doing that. There's some decisions that people, when you start looking at these other decisions too, that people, when you start looking at them, not just one. Sometimes we don't catch the other ones. Sometimes, in this book you're talking about, you may have only read one chapter. You haven't finished, you haven't read a lot of the chapters, and you start reading the book, and it's not just one chapter. It's a few chapters in here, and the things in the content of those chapters may say, something, yeah, this is not what I want to do, because there are options.
But don't I have a right to choose my own hero?
Absolutely.
But
sure you do.
Does that mean
though? But people may judge it. People may judge people may judge the hero that you're choosing and say, yeah, you chose him and you have absolutely that right to do that. But we don't think that's a good thing. And people will take positions on that. And
But
people will make decisions on that.
but let me ask you a question.
But you
And wait a minute,
sure.
and this is important. If I, in my heart and in my soul, and in my brain, everything in me tells me that this is not good, do I need Joe to tell me that this is not good? Can I make that decision all by myself without any input from anybody else?
Perhaps. I mean, I guess the answer to the question is yes, but it doesn't mean that any input from me or anybody else, is not helpful or not relevant. May not even shore you up to thinking, maybe bringing something to your attention you haven't even thought about. When people take advice, the whole point about giving people advice and the whole point about seeking second opinions about things or just talking to people is that you often hear things and like, man, I never thought about that. And I think we've all said that. We've all said at one point in time, I never thought about that. There were times I wish my parents had said something in a different way, use words because I never thought about stuff, and I would have made decisions that I look back and said, yeah, I should have done that differently. I wish I would not have done that. But it is. But I don't think any group, I don't think anybody, and what we're facing now, and particularly in the case that's coming up now in Louisiana in front of the Supreme Court, where I think the Supreme Court, I was using this as an example, I think the Supreme Court is going to limit or severely cripple Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. I think that's going to happen. So I don't think they'd be fooling with it right now if they weren't going to do it. And I think that's going to have a detrimental effect, particularly on the voting rights of African Americans in Alabama and across the South.
Don't we get tired? Don't we get tired of being political victims of every nuance that happens? I mean, some of this stuff is ridiculous. Sometimes we act like we're the most crippled people in America. We can't go vote. We need special this and special that. This is 2025.
Well, I agree, and there are people who are still trying to marginalize Black folks in America. People are still trying to do that. They ain't stopped.
But what would be the purpose? You can still vote.
It's not, what troubles me as a lawyer, and I'll tell somebody this, troubles me as a lawyer, and when I watch the courts behave the way the courts are behaving, is that the words that we have in our Constitution, the words that, in the cases at least I've grown up and watched happen and, watched for, years and years and years, our precedents, that the words will be there, but they'll have no meaning. And,
But Joe, aren't we the problem with the civil rights movement? And God knows I appreciate the people that went through what they went through, but we seem to have some of those people, because we won the war, but we still fighting the battles, and those battles are doing just as much damage as the war did. So aren't we still fighting wars that are not there anymore? Anybody can get up and go vote.
Well, it's not as simple as, Kevin. It's not as simple as getting up and going to vote. And I'll give you a couple of examples here. When Section 5 was stricken, which forced a lot of states, particularly like Alabama, and some jurisdictions, some states and some voting jurisdictions, which had a history of discrimination, to go to the Justice Department for pre-clearance if they changed some of their voting methods or anything impacted that. When that was done, we saw a rash across the South as we didn't see it anyplace else. We didn't see it anyplace else but the South. These changes, and what courts have recognized is that these changes typically disproportionately affect certain people, and certain people who look a certain way, and that's not a mistake, Kevin. It's no mistake. Even in the Milligan case, the three judges, I think two of them were appointed by President Trump. Judge Terry Moore was one of them, who was a former federal prosecutor. But those judges, in a 500-page opinion, said that the state of Alabama had deliberately cut districts to dilute the impact of black voters here. That was deliberate.
Having
Okay.
having black voters.
Well, hold on, Kevin. Hold on. Let me finish here.
Okay. All right.
Now, when the judges tell you that, okay, then when the judges give you an order to go back and redraw it in a certain way, you come back with the same crap you had out there before, and say you deliberately disobey an order. I mean, what is somebody to take from that? That you can't blame
That
the
judges are
person
political.
being a
Judges are political.
look. Let me say this: if you can't blame the person being victimized for crying out, okay, you can't blame them for that. Okay, you can't blame the person for pointing that out. You cannot blame the woman who is discriminated because she's being a woman being sexually harassed for complaining to HR, which is what you're doing and talking about. You're blaming the people who. So this is what I'm saying is that this has been going on, and it hasn't stopped. You're right. We fought a civil war about it. You got people here who had nothing to do with the civil war. They flying Confederate flags all around here.
Okay.
Why?
That's
What does
their
it
right.
mean?
That right to
You know,
do it. They have the right to do it.
it's certainly right, but we know as people what that means.
Well,
I know what flying the Nazi flag means, Kevin.
Okay.
I know what that means.
But let me
I
ask
know
you,
what that means to Jewish people.
Let me ask
And
you.
we don't need to be ridiculous. We don't need to be deliberately indifferent,
Right.
you know, or deliberately
And that goes both
to what
ways,
we know
though.
things are.
But that goes both ways.
Whatever. I'm not saying it doesn't go any other kind of way.
Right.
I'm saying what it is. And
Okay,
I'm saying nobody needs to do that.
Okay, so let me ask you
Okay.
the question. Let me ask you this question, and I'm trying to do this in the most simplest way I can. If somebody sticks me with a hot coal, you don't need to tell me that it's hot. I know it's hot because you just touch me with it. Then why is it that I don't feel the way you do? Because I'm just as black as you, been blacker longer than you. Born in '57. I don't see all of this that you see. Is it strict? Is it because my eyes are blind, or you guys been in the political realm so long that everything needs a cause? I just don't see this. I don't care about the flag. I don't care about the Nazi. I don't care about any of that stuff. As long as you don't put it in my face, it's your own property. I don't care.
Well, I think of some people may feel that way, and black people are no more monolithic than white people are. I say it a whole bunch of times. There's heroes and horse thieves no matter where you go. In every racial group, I mean, nobody's blessed or cursed with any special gifts. That's absurd.
But the politics.
And so yes, but you may not be as in tune. I know a lot of people aren't in tune with that. Some people limit their experience to the things that they actually see, as opposed to the things that are going on. I mean, for me as a man, you know, talking about until I talk with my female colleagues in school, you know, sexual harassment to me, perpetrated by men. I never did it, but perpetrated by men was something I thought was just a poo-poo notion. It's a poo-poo notion.
One guy just put on
until I talk with women who had actually been victimized that way, who opened my eyes to the fact that this is not a boys will be boys, Joe. Mm-hmm. You know, these things actually happen. They impact us in this way. Mm-hmm. But lions have no idea how dangerous the Serengeti is. Mm-hmm. They got no idea.
One guy,
the gators, they just don't have any idea about that. Yeah. But the gazelle know.
Well, one guy just
right? The antelope know.
One man just put a interesting. He said, "When you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail." Since you are a lawyer, an attorney at law, doesn't everything look like a potential case?
No. I mean, everyone say. I guess theoretically. And here's where the lawyer is coming out. Theoretically, everything is a potential case. So I mean, anything can be a case. Anything can be a case.
That's what I'm saying.
When I say, but that's just like that's what asking me is, are these things possible? Well, lots of things are possible. The question is, are they probable? You know, or what's likely to succeed? And I think most lawyers look at cases in a matter of not so much as they can bring it, because we have rules about bringing frivolous cases. We have rules about that. That you just don't bring what'll get garbage and nonsense and I'm a dog, I'm gonna step over here and step back. A lot of lawyers were admonished, Some were even disbarred for bringing all those fake cases that Donald Trump was talking about a stolen election. They put their names on pleadings to please him. They went to court and they got jammed up by judges. They got jammed bad and they got complaints and they paid for it. A lot of them did. Okay.
And a lot of those
Because they
lawyers
were
got screwed by the judge. Okay. I mean,
well,
opinion thing.
I suppose. Look, if you want to reduce Ted Bundy, all right, to a guy to a man who's intelligent and who had a great smile and great hair, okay, then that's all we'll ever know about Ted Bundy. Okay, and but we know what he did. Okay, we know what he did. All right, you kill all those girls. Okay,
he did.
Young women, you kill them all. So we know what he did. So let's not, like I said, play the willfully obtuse blinders game, where if you want to just look at the fact that I took the trash out or cleaned the kitchen, I must be an okay guy, except the part where I'm beating on my spouse. Not gonna fly.
Somebody sent me a text, and I think it's a question for you. And I said, well, I'll ask them. He says, did you attack this particular person because of what he said about the mayor in an article in the newspaper?
No. My brother can handle himself. My brother does not need me to do anything. Okay, be real clear about that. He doesn't need me. But when you are pushing against the interests of other folks, okay, if that's going to be the position you take, then people are going to take another position. I'm going to bring that up. I'm not going to apologize for that.
Right, but
I'm not going to apologize for that.
And you have a right to your opinion. But how does me?
And it's my opinion, and people don't have to follow it.
Well, then why? If you don't want somebody to follow it, why do you bring it up?
No, people don't. I said people don't have to follow it.
Yeah, but why?
I said people. You bring it up. You bring it up so people will take note of it, and people can make an informed decision about what they want to do. I don't. That's not something I'm going to do. I'm not going to support businesses and individuals who are operating against what I perceive to be my political interests. I don't think women should. If you own a business, okay, if you own a business, all right, and you refuse to promote women, or you take positions that are detrimental to the equality of women, okay, and for them having the same rights as you do, okay, or that impact them in a disproportionate way, why should they support you?
Well, the women's got the same.
I mean, I just listen to what I just said.
Yeah, I hear
okay. If someone extrapolates, so if that's what's happening here, then don't do it. And so I don't support people who don't support Montgomery. Okay. Let me be frank. I don't support people who don't support Montgomery. I don't support people who don't support the equality of everybody.
But how
who don't want a level play? Listen to what I'm saying. Who don't want a level playing field? I don't support that.
Wait a minute. How do me recognizing a birthday of an individual not support Montgomery?
That tells me your thought process. Okay. That tells you your thought process.
Wait a minute. I like Charlie Kirk, some of the things he said, not everything, but I like them. I mean, he said some.
Okay.
I like Malcolm X too, but guess what? I didn't like everything Malcolm said. But in general, I like them.
A lot of them says a lot of us do, a lot of us don't. That happens. Sometimes that happens. But people may not want to do that.
Then let
things
those people make their own mind up. Let them make their own mind up.
You can't make your mind up for something you don't know about.
But then if you don't
how you make your mind up for something you don't know?
It didn't bother you then. If it didn't,
no, Kevin. No, Kevin. That's something that doesn't bother you because if you don't know it. Okay.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you don't know it. If my neighbor's dog, is crapping in my backyard.
Right.
Okay. All right. And I don't like that. Okay. Now, it's one thing that's to be brought to my attention.
Right.
You're saying your logic is that, well, you don't need to complain about it because you haven't seen it.
Well,
you don't know anything about it, Joe. So it's not a big deal.
You see it, but you won't.
But if you bring it to my attention,
right?
And do you know that your neighbor walks his dog, and every time that neighbor lets his dog, use your yard as the bathroom?
Yeah, I've been complaining about that for years.
Going.
Yeah, I've been complaining about it.
Okay, then that's and this particular dog, then that's going to be an issue.
Then you tase the dog.
But the easier answer might be,
Yeah.
Let me say right, Vincent. The easier answer might be if people need to be considerate or understand about what their words and what their actions
Mm-hmm.
are. Okay.
Okay.
Because about what their words and their actions, and maybe nobody will advocate for that. But I'm not going to support anybody, anywhere, anytime, and I'm not going to advocate for it. Okay, and I'm going to encourage other people, as many as I can, not to support those things.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question. Are there black people that are racist?
Prejudice, yes.
When
Racism is a different animal.
and
That's a different animal.
there's a different racism between blacks and whites.
Because racism there's a power dynamic behind that. Prejudice, yeah,
And
absolutely.
who came up with that philosophy? That there's a power
I
dynamic.
can't. When I think there's a power to how it's implemented.
Oh.
I can't point to a particular person who said X, Y, and Z. But sure, people can do that. But I think but when you're a minority in this country, Kevin, I think it's what you keep forgetting here.
Mhm.
Okay, and forgetting the history in this country.
Now I'm black. Now I've been black a while. I've been black a while. I'm good.
It was certainly longer than I have. In area, man, I have friends who went to school in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
All right, where there are very few black folks.
Mm-hmm.
I got friends in Colorado.
It's too
Okay,
cold.
less than 4% of the population is there.
Yeah.
It's and their experiences where they live are different from mine. I went to college with them. They didn't see the things that I saw. Okay, they don't understand that. They didn't even have an understanding of the Confederate flag.
Mm.
But we all know what that symbol is and what that symbol means, and the intellectual dishonesty that comes up when you're playing games with that, as if that doesn't have in particular Alabama, have a meaning behind it. It's just absurd and it's insulting.
Okay.
Okay, it's insulting. And then to play more games
Mhm.
to try to minimize that as if it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be smarter and better than that. Like I said, I know from my Jewish friends.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I know what that Nazi flag means to them.
Yeah.
We all know what that means.
Hey,
and more importantly, the people who wave it know what it means.
Yeah.
So don't play that. Don't play that game, Kevin. That this intellectual dishonest game where people can do this and it just means the Confederate flag is a white supremacist moniker, like the Nazi. That's what it is.
Joe, you remind me of a preacher. Let me get a word in here for a second. Did you guys go to the business owner personally and say, these are my concerns?
No.
Okay. So don't you think that's intellectually disingenuous also?
No.
So,
to your point or earlier, Kevin, people know what they're doing.
Not
and what
really.
they're saying, they know. That's why they do. Yeah, they do.
We all don't think the same.
Okay.
It didn't bother me. It didn't bother me at all.
Kevin, yes, people. If you're a certain age,
yeah.
All right, when you get to a certain age,
I'm that age.
You know politically and otherwise what you're doing. All right, like I know what I'm doing. Okay, I know when I say certain things, when I make certain moves, I know what that means and what that's for, whose attention I'm trying to get. I know all of that. That's why it's happening.
You make a broad assumption, a very broad assumption.
That's why it's happening.
That you can drive a truck through. What if I just happen to like an individual? I just happen to like, not everything, but let's just say I just happen to like that person. And does that mean that you get to be the great judger of all the things I like?
No, you're the judge of that.
Okay.
Because you're your own man. So you feel free now, but you can. But when you start saying, I like this particular person, I'm advocating this particular person.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very controversial person in a lot of circles.
Jesus was controversial.
Yeah, Kevin, I know. I imagine, the first woman who ever told her husband no was controversial at some point. I mean, sure, but that's not what we're not talking about that. I mean, if you were, everybody can be controversial in any one given point in time for whatever reason.
Okay.
But when you start saying some of the things that people, or you advocating positions that are inflammatory, deemed to be racist, deemed to be sexist, Maybe
Oh,
misogynist.
hey,
Okay.
you missed the word deemed to be.
Well, I think people. Listen, I mean, people, because some people may not deem it to be that way.
Yeah,
Some people may not. Some people may think that it's okay for certain folks to be second class here,
mhm,
and that's just a normal. That's a no. They don't deem it to be. I
mhm.
mean, the South has been and was now, and
But
even
if
60,
something
70 years ago.
right, but if
You
something
know, you
offends me,
things are happening. They didn't deem it to be offensive.
right, but if
Some
something
people,
offends
a lot of treatment.
but Joe, if something
Having people
offends
sit in the back of the bus wasn't deemed to be offensive. It
right,
was the
right,
law,
right. But if something
but it
offends
wasn't
me,
offensive.
right, but if something offends me, such as this particular business we're talking about, don't I know it offends me? Can I make my own determination if I'm offended
Of
or
course,
not?
when I say of course you can if you know about it. But there are things I'll be candid about it. There's things, companies, people that I didn't know anything about. And once I heard certain things or
And
saw
it
certain
didn't
things,
bother you, and it did not bother
oh
you.
no, no, I
Listen,
didn't. I didn't. Of course, it didn't bother me. I didn't know anything about it. I was unaware, Kevin. Of course not.
hmm,
Of
okay,
course, things that I'm not aware of don't bother me. You
okay,
know, smells that odors that I don't smell
hmm,
don't bother me.
okay,
But you, after 3 burritos, probably going to bother me. We got a long ride together.
all right.
All
Anyway,
right, that's probably going to. So when you are aware, but people should not expect. And here's what people should not expect. People should not expect to take offensive general positions. Okay, whatever they are.
hmm,
All right, and think that there won't be any blowback on that. There just won't be.
okay.
People shouldn't do that because there is
Well,
going to be.
we all have our opinions about
And people,
about
listen, right? And people can determine
yeah.
what that is. But you first got to know what it is. And
I
then if it's
think
not
though,
important to you,
I think
then
though,
don't.
out of all this conversation we had about this, I think the one thing that is glaring to me though is that you didn't have a conversation with the with the proprietor of that building before we start calling for all these extraneous things. I just think that's unfair to him and to the citizens of Montgomery.
Well, to your point, people can decide what they want to do
Hmm.
or not.
But you
People,
do hold a little bit of influence.
people. I suppose so.
Yeah,
Perhaps.
yeah, you do.
When I say perhaps, and people think I've got some common sense.
Yeah. All right. Hey, I gotta go, man.
I mean,
When you coming on so somebody can really get to you.
whenever you give me a link and let me know,
Okay, I'll
and
do that.
not
I got
and not make me put this motion down that I'm writing to talk to you
yeah. Okay.
that I've got to crank out some actual work. But anytime you want me to,
Right.
look. I'm not. Let me tell you what I'm not.
Mm,
Okay, one, I'm not above being corrected. I'm not above somebody, educating me about whatever it is. I'm not above a do-over. I'm not above reconsideration. Now you give me some things to think about.
mm.
Okay,
Okay.
give me some things to think about.
Hey, appreciate it. That's what
So
I'm
I'm
doing.
not.
Give you things to
So
think
I'm
about.
not. Like I say, I'm not above that. I expect those things to be far and few in between,
All right.
but we can do it.
Appreciate it. All right. Get back with you. It'll probably be early. Tomorrow's Wednesday. I got JC Love sometime coming on tomorrow, and it'll probably be maybe Thursday. We'll talk. Anyway, time's almost up, but we were trying to get on to hey Jerry Blevins. Yeah. But anyway, I just think what we don't like, we can express that, but to try to influence other people to not to boycott somebody when you haven't even talked to the owner, he may not his world is different than our world. The things we think that are important, you know. Other people don't happen to think what's important, and we don't think it's important. I just think that that we that they were a little wrong in that. But anyway, moving right along to other things. 521-2963 is the number here. Jerry, give me a call, man. Let's talk about something for a second. You're a lawyer. Did you agree with my guess? Yeah, I see the mayor's over in Spain someplace. He's representing Montgomery in a global scale, nearly 5,000 miles away from home. He is taking part in the 2025 Smart City Expo World Congress in Barcelona, Spain. Okay. I mean, I never get asked to go on any of these trips. I probably wouldn't have got on the airplane anyway, unless I got a parachute. I'm not getting on airplanes anymore. Forget that one. But I don't know. Oh, there's. Hey, Jerry, what's going on?
Kevin, you reached out for me, and here I am.
I know. What's up?
Hey, I was just, I didn't catch the whole brunt of the discussion this morning, but I caught some of it. To tell you the truth, I'm not real sure on what the issue was. Somebody said something about something. Y'all never really summarized what the issue was.
Well, there's a local business owner who for some, he was celebrating the birthday of Charlie Kirk, and some people went out to his business and were offended that he was celebrating, Charlie Kirk, and then people have called for boycotts and all that stuff because this man who put his hard-earned money and has a fantastic business, as a matter of fact, but we get mad because he likes Charlie Kirk and we don't, and because of that, they felt as though it was their job to try to somewhat destroy his business. And
yeah, that's the interesting thing about the freedom of speech and the right to protest. He has the right to do that, and others have the right to be appalled by it. Which one is more right? But hey, here's my take on it. Here's sort of where I sort of got involved in the discussion. It seems like in Montgomery, there are so much more bigger issues, like people being killed regularly and the whole city going to hell, than to be worried about what somebody thinks about a certain individual. That's where this discussion that I heard this morning seems so misplaced. Was your caller this morning, was he out marching in the streets about the killings every other day?
Well, he's probably in court with some of the people who are doing the killing.
Right. Yeah, and for the people listening that don't know, I grew up in Montgomery. I lived there until probably about 20 years ago when I fled because I started seeing the signs of the crumbling to come. And the crumbling is here now, buddy. Property values are through the floor. Shootings are rampant. And when I hear people talk about voting, it just cracks me up. It's like I would suppose the voting in Montgomery is the way your caller earlier would like voting to be. And look where the voting has gotten everybody.
Well,
is there a problem with voting in Montgomery?
The only problem in voting in Montgomery is a lot of people just don't vote.
Yeah, and that's because most people have just given up hope, which if you live in a place like Montgomery, if you live in Chicago, if you live in Selma, maybe we can understand why people give up hope. But geez, there's just so much more. We're trying to hire convicted felons in Montgomery now.
No, wait. Wait. Don't a convicted felon have a right to a second chance?
He does, but not to be a top official in city government. I mean, we've got to draw the line somewhere.
Wait a minute. He was working underneath somebody else.
Yeah, but Kevin, look, I understand. I understand this. Everybody deserves a second chance. And how can anybody ever challenge anything if all we work from is everybody's entitled to a second chance? No, you're not. You do some things that are so heinous. You're entitled to second chances, but you're not entitled to top positions in government if you allegedly were convicted of stealing millions.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're not.
All right. Well, that's your opinion. I mean, I can't argue with it, but I do know one thing: if God judged us the way we judge us, nobody would get out of this thing in good condition. called life.
Well, that's true, but we wouldn't have people in prison. We wouldn't be holding pedophiles accountable. So we can take religion to an extreme. God doesn't tell us don't discern and
But
don't
he was
punish
punished, though.
wrongdoing.
I mean, he was punished. So, I mean, we're not saying get off scot-free. But again, like there's a guy I know, 42 years old now, right? When he was 17 years old, a long time ago, he had sex with a 15-year-old girl. Guess what? He's still considered a sexual offender today at 42. He can't live certain places. He can't get certain jobs. So I'm just saying, you know, where does this end? I mean, God don't hold us accountable that long.
Yeah, well, you know, those sex laws were enacted for a purpose, like for serial pedophile. They've been
Right.
misapplied to
Yes.
like statutory rape and that kind of stuff. You know,
Yeah.
things that sometimes are good intended become monsters because they're not applied appropriately, and that's one of those things. So I
Yeah.
agree with you.
Yeah. Oh, well, hey, somebody said that the houses are selling for more now in Montgomery. Well, I don't know if
I don't
that's
know
true.
what universe that person's in.
Yeah, I don't
Hell,
know.
I had a house in Wetumpka that I couldn't hardly sell because of it was near Montgomery.
Okay, brother,
Um,
you had a mansion in Montgomery and with Tumpka, okay? Okay, that ain't that,
yeah,
that
if 1,200 square feet is a mansion, amen,
You
right?
had a mansion up there, brother. That wasn't like my house. Well, I ain't got a house actually. But anyway, they like place I live, you know. Anyway, well, Jerry, man, so when you gonna move back to Montgomery? Because all you got to do is move back to Montgomery and just straighten things out.
Hey, kid, that's funny you said. I told my wife a couple of weeks ago because I'm sort of retired now, sort of taking down the shingle. I told my wife, I said, the only thing that motivates me these days, and I think this is when the mass shooting occurred in Montgomery. I told her, I said, I have an urge to move back to Montgomery and see if I can get the city in order. And I said that jokingly, but it's funny you said that because Montgomery used to be a great place. Now, I think you were there when it was a great place.
Right, I got it in '91, and listen, I still think it's it's kind of like America. People say, well, America's always been a great country, but we're not a perfect country. City of Montgomery's a good city, but it's not a perfect city. We need some tightening up. We need to tighten up some things around here, and that crime thing, and like yesterday, somebody got shot the other day. But we need a wholesale overhaul of the Second Amendment. I'm just something's wrong.
What you need, everybody, a lot of people despise the poor guy. He was there when I was there years ago. What you need is Emory Fulmer back in office in Montgomery. What you need is the National Guard in Montgomery. What you need is the presence of law enforcement and enforcement of laws in Montgomery. The law enforcement's crumbling. The courts are crumbling. People have no hope. I mean, to tell you the truth, if my wife wouldn't shoot me or something for doing it, I would move back to Montgomery and attempt to get it back in order where it should be. It's the state capital. It's embarrassing when you drive through there.
So you mean you'd run for mayor?
Well, in a bizarro world, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I did. I joked with my wife the other day because I'm sort of tired. You know, I've practiced law for about 32 years now and got tired of it, worn out of it, sort of retired about a year and a half ago. I still do it a little bit here and there, looking for my next challenge.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, you can always help me with the podcast and be the guy on the other end of the thing here from Birmingham and tell us what's going on over there if you want to, give you something to do in the morning.
Well, what I'd like to see is Kevin Elkins step up, run for mayor, get the city in order, I can sit back from where I am and say, Kevin, job well done.
Well, I do plan, if I ain't too old, I do plan to run for city council, but I'm not prepared to be anybody's mayor, nor do I have the pedigree nor do I have the education to do it. But
yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. You've got common sense. You've got good judgment.
Yeah.
And I mean, seriously, somebody needs to step forward. You've been there a while. You're known. I would encourage you, step forward. Don't go for the little pebble city council.
Get the boulder.
Go to the top of the heap. You ought to seriously consider it and be serious about it. And hell, if you do it, I'll help you.
Okay, then. All right. Hey, listen, I got to go, man. Tune in sometime and call anytime you want to.
All right. Good talking to you.
Appreciate it. Jerry Blevins, attorney at law. He's lived here for a long time. And don't forget Helping Hands. Go to GoFundMe, Helping Hands Good Neighbor Award, if you will. Make sure you put something in that pot for us. And tomorrow I'll be able to give you an address where to send letters and things of that nature or donation if you want to. All right. Anyway, so have a great day. And we'll see you tomorrow. The good Lord says the same. Okay. So see ya. I wouldn't want to be you. All right. Bye now. And remember, it is not the falling down that gives you the strength. It is getting up each and every time you do. All I can tell you is keep getting up. Keep getting up. Tomorrow, our illustrious probate judge, J.C. Love, around 8:30 or so, he should be here. Well, in the studio anyway. Anyway, you guys have a good day and a great day.
Grateful heart with such sweet ease. Thank you, Lord, for every breath I take, for the love that heals and the joy you make in the tapestry of life. I see your grace, every moment filled with your warm embrace. Through valleys deep and mountains high, your faith a beacon in the sky. Every trial with lessons wrapped tight